everyone, and welcome back to Life Essentials, the Self Healer's Journey podcast. I am Bobby Benton, aka Serendipitously Bobby, and I am the host. And tonight, guys, you are in for a treat. I have the lovely Miss Natoya Jones, financial liaison, wealth distribution advocate. So, welcome, Natoya. I want to call you Latoya. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. So, guys, I want to quickly just read Natoya's bio to you because she is a powerhouse. So, I want to read her bio to you. So, Natoya Jones obtained a Bachelor of Science degree from Marygrove College. Upon graduation, she then expanded her knowledge of the industry by branching off into mortgage loan processing. Over the next 21 years, she spent her career dedicated to working at local banks while expanding her knowledge of financial and banking practices. In 2018, she began a financial consulting business, DG Revenue Management, and she offers accounting services and business coaching and more, tailored toward the specific needs of the business or individuals. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're doing great.
Part of the vision for the business is to have impact on community outreach. In 2021, where she obtained certification as a HUD housing counselor equipped with more knowledge about the needs of the community, Natoya recently started Revenue Management Foundation, a nonprofit whose mission is to impact the distribution of wealth gap in low-income communities by providing financial education and resources that will otherwise not be available to those groups. Natoya successfully completed life coach ministry training to aid those interested in not only reaching personal goals, but also guide those interested in reaching spiritual goals. Natoya is also nurturing her passion for writing, self-publishing a book of original poetry titled Soul in 2015, and most recently published her first novel, Never Give Up, in spring of 2020. So, Toya, look at you, girl.
Look at me. You're making me sound like somebody I don't even know. Like, who is this woman?
And you know what? I like that you're out here trying to educate people in the community who don't have those resources, like underserved populations. You're trying to educate everybody and bring everybody up. So that right there is kudos to you, because normally, there ain't nothing they teach in school, and people like, I don't know what to do. So, but Natoya, what I want you to do for us is, for one, share your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
And then I want us to go from there to deep dive into how understanding finances can help women or people who have been victims of domestic violence. They're leaving, how to get back on track. So,
Okay.
Just share with us, like, where it all began for you.
Oh, where it all began for me, I think, well, for one, my first job in the finance world was a credit union as a college student. So I was exposed very early to finances. Not only having a family who was in accounting, just doing that with early exposure, I think allowed me to kind of get ahead of maybe my peers at that time. So I moved from credit unions. I've worked at 3-4 different banks. I've worked in mortgages as a processor. I've always worked in some type of finance. It's once you get in, what people don't understand, when you get into working at banks, you have to be bonded, they're checking your credit, things of that nature. Once you're in, you're pretty much in. And I think that's almost with any industry. If you began working in construction, you tend to stick with that industry because that's where your expertise is.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of just stayed in that. But what I think the passion grew more because as I worked with different banks, what I was seeing was a common theme amongst the everyday average working person. Okay, so they didn't have access to a lot of the programs that are available to those who may have had higher balances in their accounts. And also the lower income communities or even younger like students, they're fresh out. They don't really know how to manage an account. And so what I was noticing is these are the people that are coming in whose accounts are always overdrawn or they're always below the $25 minimum balance to maintain, which causes them to get a maintenance fee, and really is due to lack of knowledge. If it was explained to them, if you go below this amount, you're going to get charged a fee. I doubt they would continuously go below that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to get charged an extra $10 just for you holding their money. So I became, I guess, disturbed internally. Like this is not helpful. You know what I mean? When this institution should be helpful.
Yeah.
And so what I kept learning, going to different ones, I've worked at TCF, I've worked at Flagstar, I've worked at Bank of America, I've worked at credit unions, I've worked at different places, but the theme is the same amongst corporate banking, corporate retail banking. The theme is the same. They have great accounts and great amenities for people who hold high balances. But people who do not have high balances are kind of thrown to the side. So I just really became passionate about who's going to help these people. And when I started to say, these are my people, my people need help. So who's going to help my people? It has to be me. It has to be somebody.
Yeah.
So why not me?
Champion the cause, girl.
It has to be somebody. So that's kind of how it was birthed. I really started the finance part probably in 2016. And I was working still part-time at a bank, and I was still working my business. So in 2019, I was able to kind of make that segue. It was just some things. I think I really was just really getting fed up, because it's like nothing is really changing. And the only way to help the people is to give them knowledge.
Yeah.
And when you're at the bank, they frown upon you giving them anything that's against or different from what their procedures are. So if I had someone in front of me, they want you to sell. They want you to upsell. I was the worst seller ever. Listen, you guys, I am the worst seller ever, okay? Because I don't like offering things to people that don't need it. So they want you to offer a credit card to someone who can only keep $20 in their account.
Yeah.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but we had to get these quotas, you're not selling, you have to get so many. And I would say the same thing, of course they got to pull you in the office.
Yeah.
They want to know why you're not selling, How come you didn't send somebody over here to fill out a loan application or a credit card? Listen, they don't need it. So it became such a stretch of, I feel like my morals just wouldn't let me offer these people things that they did not need. But because I know what they do need, and then you have the young adults who've never cashed checks. So now they're in there, they don't know where to sign their check. Half of them don't know signing means to write in cursive. Nobody's teaching them the basic things of what accounts are, where to keep your money, what's a certificate of deposit, how does that help me, what's a custodian account if I have children, or if I am coming out of a custodian account, now I'm going to college. No one's teaching them these things. And I feel like these are basic banking knowledge, basic financial, basic money management things that we need to know as a community that other communities are being taught.
Yep.
And we are not learning.
Yep.
So somebody has to do it. So
why not you?
Why not me?
Why not you?
Why not me? No, why not me? So yeah, in 2019, I got my first client where it was more than what I was making at the bank. So I just moved on from there, and I've just been going, and I just made a decision. I went back to church, and I just made a decision that, God, I know you want me to be somewhere, and you want me to do something. So because I don't know what that is, I'm going to need you to guide me in order to do this for other people. And so that's what I did. I just made that commitment, and as I made that commitment to where God wanted me to do to help his people, then all those doors started opening for me. So that's kind of where it came from. So.
And you're doing such a great job.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a great job.
Thanks. I'm excited. I'm excited. There's some things to come, so I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
So, before we branch off into the DV portion of it, dive into how you became a HUD counselor and what that actually means.
So for HUD counseling, I was working at a nonprofit. It's called Gesher now, but it was called a different name, Gesher Human Services. But I worked there for a short period as a financial capability counselor. So a lot of nonprofits have multiple things that they help people with. You know, they have resources, even if they themselves don't have places for DV survivors or places for homelessness, they have resources.
Yeah.
And so one of their resources is helping people to learn how to stay in their homes if they're on the verge of losing their homes. In order to do that, you have to become a certified HUD counselor.
Okay.
So that allows me to walk someone through the process who's in the middle of or who wants to avoid foreclosure on their home. I can walk them through the steps of avoiding that, or the steps, or if you need to turn your home in. But we need to go over your options. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing is ignoring what's going on. You can't ignore. Ignoring is the worst thing you can do when you're in any type of financial crisis.
Homeless.
I'm going to say this. Everything you do in life is going to affect your finances in one way or another.
Yes.
There's nothing that you do that is not going to affect your finances. So you cannot ignore when something is going to impact your finances, especially in a negative way.
Yeah.
So I liked doing the HUD counseling, but when I started my own nonprofit, I only wanted to focus on the finance. So I don't offer housing counseling. I can do it, but all of my classes, I offer 9 classes through my nonprofit, but they're all geared toward financing. So it's either we're working on your credit, we're working on money management, we're talking about basic banking, or I'm talking about how to help you grow a business if that's what you want to do. We're talking about retirement, things that impact your money directly that a lot of people are not learning, especially we're not learning it in schools. You know, some of our parents were challenged, which means that we are challenged, which means that our children are challenged. And so I find it easier to get that age gap, 13 to 18, versus the 30-year-olds. Because the 30-year-olds have already developed habits, and it's hard to change habits. It's easier to create new habits. So that's kind of where that comes from. I can do it, but I would like to focus strictly on the finance.
Well, I agree with you, the age range, because I know when I was in school, okay, now I'm almost 50, so it was it was different. When I was in school, we had accounting class, but I remember in middle school, they taught us how to write checks. Like I used to like to play store and bank and all that.
You used to like to play store.
Okay, y'all, me and Toya been friends before she was even born. So, but I used to love to just do that. And so now checks are almost obsolete. So I don't even think they're teaching kids how to do that in school anymore because they done took cursive away. And that's why kids don't know how, they're like, oh, they just sign it in print because they don't even teach that in school anymore. And most people don't teach their kids at home how to write in cursive.
No.
It's not even a thought because they just assume school's gonna do it, but school ain't doing it.
Well, I have my own thoughts on that, but we'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
But I keep checks.
I still got checks too.
I keep checks. But your debit card is an electronic check. That's what it is. So you still should be treating your debit card like it's a check. And most people, this is why they run into the trouble of their account being overdrawn. You're not writing down when you're using that card. Okay. When we use checks, initially, we used that check register like it was the Bible, okay? Because you wanted to make sure that you did not overdraw your account. And I think people are less conscious of spending the money they're just swiping because it's like invisible, like, oh, this money is coming from everywhere. No, this money is coming from your account. It's not coming from everywhere. It's literally coming from your account. So I think that's where the disconnect is. Having the card doesn't make people believe that it's coming out of the account until they see, oh wait, it is coming out of the account. Wait, I thought I had. Or when you check you know how it just gives you the pending sometimes? Now it used to. Now you can see it kind of right away. It'll pin the whole amount. But remember back in the day when they first started using debit cards a lot?
Nope.
It would just take that dollar and then people would check their balance. Oh yeah, I still got money. And then you're swipe. You don't have any money. So I think it's just the culture is different. And to your point, no one's teaching cursive, no one's teaching that. And I think it's still a responsibility that the community needs to know that.
Yep.
And it needs to be a part of a life skills class that's in the schools. That would be great for the kids. But if I can get them in programs like this, even if I could get, from 13 to 24, that's a real vulnerable group, I feel as if, because they're just now learning what finance means, what money means, how to save. And what if they don't have anyone in their stratosphere, their regular everyday life, that is teaching them this, teaching them about credit, teaching them about these things. So, I just want to make sure that I'm a part of the solution.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I like that you're doing that because, man, I know for my own kids, like me and their dad, we taught them those things, but I have other people in my life, they have not a clue. They going to the party store, paying a fee to cash their check. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Or they cash the check and just keeping all the money. And I'm like, what are you doing?
They're keeping all the money because usually 9 times out of 10, I've seen it 100 times. I've been in this industry for 24 years at this point. When people can't go to their bank, it's because they cannot get a bank account anymore. Either the account's overdrawn, maybe they're on check systems and they can't open new accounts, maybe there was fraud. So to me, that's another way of hiding. When I just said the worst thing you can do is ignore things that impact your finances. That's the worst thing you can do. So I think that's what people are doing. They're just avoiding it.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better. It gets worse over time.
Yeah, it does. And trying to pull yourself up out the hole is really hard.
Yes.
No, financial literacy, is so important. So you are like, really, I commend you because people talk about their money. That's a vulnerable spot because how you handle your money says a lot about you. So.
Yes, that's true. It does. I think what I like about there's a class that I teach that talks a little bit more about the behaviors than it does about your spending. I kind of delve into why you spend the way you spend. How was money talked about in your home? Who was the spender in your family? What parent was the saver? Was there always tension around money? Were you a family that didn't have a lot, so now that you're out, you're spending everything in abundance because you've always felt like you didn't have anything? Or you're a hoarder. So these things, we have to first address the behaviors and why we do what we do in order to change the habits. Most people don't want to address and sit right in front of why you do what you do.
Because some people I know some people who can tend to get manic sometimes, spend more.
Yes.
And people who are trying to escape spend.
Yes.
Stress shopping. Then you get buyer's remorse and you taking stuff back and all that kind of stuff. So it's just, the cycle is crazy. So
I have non-buyer's remorse. I used to go into the Walmart and fill up the basket, and by the time I got to the front, there was only 2 things in my basket.
I
could not live with it. I just couldn't live with it, because I didn't want to spend the money because in my mind, you don't need it. So sometimes I'm on the flip side, and I think we all have different characteristics at different points in our life. Maybe the 19 and 20-year-old self was the spender. Maybe the parents in us is now the saver.
Yeah.
You know, maybe now we're looking for security. I think we have different levels
Yeah.
throughout our life depending on what our financial goals are.
Yeah.
However, I do feel like it needs to be a consistency of save, spend, invest. It has
Yeah.
to be, it can't just be years of spend, spend, spend,
Yeah.
you know, without any cause. There has to be some goals, and it has to be a way that you are strategically
Yeah.
attempting to reach these goals.
Because nowadays, like, people don't have pensions and things like that.
Yes.
So it's like if you're not putting anything away for retirement on your own, it's like you're going to be working until you hit the grave because you don't have a nest egg to fall back on. So,
Right, but we have to know to do that. And I feel
Yeah.
like there's a community of people that don't understand that this needs to be done.
yeah.
It's all about the now.
Mm-hmm.
What looks good now? Should I get a new car?
Mm-hmm.
I'm leasing a car every time it comes out. I don't own anything. I have more shoes than I have a vehicle, or I have more shoes than I have a place to stay.
My purse costs
You know,
more than
my purse costs more than my mom's mortgage, cause not mine, because I don't have a house. You
Yeah.
feeling me? So it's really just the mentality. So if we can change the mentality, because my people perish due to lack of knowledge.
Yes. Amen.
So if we can just get to that, you know, just change the mentality of what's really, what are they thinking? Then we can, you know, all you need to reach is one.
Yes. And so, speaking of reaching one, okay, so let's dive now into the helping someone. So, helping somebody who has been in a abusive relationship
Okay.
where they were financially dependent on someone
Okay.
and they leave, they're going off on their own, and they're like, I don't know where to start. What would you tell that person who is just embarking out on their own after not having anything, just broken and don't know where to go? What would be the first thing to guide them, would you tell them financially to do for themselves?
Well, I think it would depend on where they are. So if they are at the point where they're just deciding to leave, it has to be a plan,
Yes.
right? So if you're thinking, maybe they have been the financial person, you haven't had a job. So you got to figure out how to get some money legally.
Don't do nothing strange for no change.
Legally, okay? Okay, I would say the first thing you want to do is save cash any way you can. Usually, typically, in the instances where you or a person has been in a financially abusive relationship, you are doing the shopping, you're doing the household items and things of that nature. When you go grocery shopping, you need to take out cash. I'm just gonna say it. So if that grocery bill is $193.42, okay, it's gonna be $243.92. You hearing me? So you're gonna swipe out. You're gonna say cash back $50, and you're gonna take that $50 and you're gonna hide that money in plain sight. See, hide it in plain sight. Most people, when you're trying to hide something, you hide it in your own sock drawer. Hide it in their sock drawer, because you're the one that's doing the laundry. I'm just saying. No, but seriously, you want to save money as best way as you can. Seriously, because you have to have money when you get out here, and you don't want to be using the debit card, because if you're trying to get away from someone, the debit card can be tracked.
Yep.
So what you're going to need to do is, at some point when you're at Walmart, you're going to buy a prepaid card. That way you can load that card upon your exit. Okay? So you want to plan for things like that.
Yep.
I would say in your plan, you should enlist someone you trust
Yep.
to help you as well. So I know it's not, financially, but financially, when you tell someone that you're making an exit, they may be willing to help you financially, knowing your situation. So you want to actually reach out to any resources that you have that may help you on your journey to get to safety. Okay, I think that's really good. What else? You can do custodian accounts. Even for your kids. So if you were to open custodian accounts and put your children's name and just your name on it, when you do leave, that money is only accessible to you and the child that's on there. And the child is going to need the parent on there too. So that could help you. Also CDs, you could open CDs, because even if those CDs are found out before you leave, they're locked in for that term. You can't take it out unless you're going to get a penalty. So those are just ways to kind of set money aside when you're planning. And when you get out, I would say you start with building non-traditional credit. Because again, at this point, you're still trying to be kind of incognito. So I would say you start with things like a light bill, utility bill, something that is not credit-based, because you're still going to be trying to build credit, but you can start with building non-traditional credit first.
Yeah.
Or a secured card versus a non-secured card, something like that. Yeah.
So explain what a secured card is. What does that look like?
So a secured card really means you put up collateral for it. So say you had $300 and you went to the credit union, they would hold that $300 in a savings account, but they would give you a credit card to use. That $300 is used as a collateral in case you don't pay the card back. So you can do something like that to help build that credit, because you may not have had any. And sometimes I've also seen in these situations, when you're in maybe a financially abusive situation, they may have messed up your credit to prevent you from leaving. So these are things that can help you to try to get back on track. What I would do, because what you're going to have to end up doing is debt management. You're going to have to pay those things down to get yourself up. So the first thing you'll need is probably non-traditional credit, because traditional credit may not be accessible to you at this point. So, yeah.
Yeah, those are some good tips. Now, so Toy and I talked about the other day about how people, or some people, end up getting into relationships where they are financially dependent on their mate, their spouse. And one thing we talked about is getting into a relationship because you want somebody to take care of you. And it looks like all roses and sunshine, because he gonna be a zaddy and he gonna take care of you. Oh, he got money, he gonna take care of me. Ow. Well, then you done got yourself in some shit.
Potentially set yourself up for failure, because in the beginning you think it's cute until it turns into not so cute. So this could look like maybe somebody who's, oh, he's giving me an allowance. Oh, he's so good at money, he got me on a strict budget. Things like that. It can look very, very subtle. It can look like requiring you to account for all the money that you're spending. So if you were to say, oh, I went out with my girls and, we had us a good time. Oh, well, how much did you spend on food? Did you guys get drinks? Where'd you go after that? It can look very unassuming in the beginning when you are getting to know someone and when you like them.
Yeah.
But then it turns to a little more.
Because he cares so much.
Because he cares so much.
Yes, he cares so much.
He loves me so much, he doesn't let me tie my own shoe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, But everything is so cute then. So
until it's not.
Until it's not. Or, I actually was on a coaching call. Sometimes I get coaching clients who are, this particular person was in like Minnesota. And there were two things that stuck out to me. You don't know that someone is in that situation until you listen to them talk. So the first thing that kind of was a red flag was they met online. She moved out of state from her family. They had been together 5 years, supposedly. They were online dating for 3. She had been where he is for 2. And not married. But in that interim, since she had been there with him, he had made her quit her job 2 times. 2 different jobs. One, she was an in-home healthcare nurse. And he didn't like the idea of her going in people's home. So she quit a $40 an hour job because he wanted her home, right? And so then she started to try to work from home, you know, because now we have a lot of hybrid things. So she's like, okay, I'll do more of that. But it was a pay cut. And because she had other familial responsibilities, you know, with an aging mother, you know, she felt strained because she needed to really go back to work. And so it's challenging because we only had a couple sessions. I think he found out because I was helping her rebuild her credit.
Oh, Lord.
And I think he found out because she said she had to talk to him about, you know, whatever. And I never heard from her again. But it said, I definitely got the feeling that he was trying to control her through the finances. He wanted to be the breadwinner, but he wasn't like that initially, or else she wouldn't have moved.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So you had 3 years of seeing none of these characteristics.
Because it was
until you got there.
online.
Because you were long distance. You know,
Yeah.
you just came to visit, he came to visit you, but then now that you're there, he don't want you to do anything. And so it's very unassuming in the beginning. So
Yeah.
I think we all just have to be aware, you know, keeping our eyes open and not just taking everything at face value.
Yep.
You know, we want to obviously be open to relationships, to love, to friendships. We want to be open to all those things. But you do want to be conscious when it comes to money. Why are people saying the things that they're saying to me?
Yeah.
Is he being malicious? Is he really being loving? Or when we're talking about money, is he only talking about how you spend? Are we talking about how he's spending?
Yep.
Are you allowed to see what he's spending? Are you allowed
Now,
to
that
ask
right
him?
there.
You see, it has to be a back and
Reciprocal,
forth.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
See, that right there, when you can't know what he's doing, that's a problem, right? That's the biggest red flag when he not sharing the. I'm sorry, but when you marry, we should know what each other got going on, because that's the major red flag.
And you know what's a red flag before you get married? Because obviously, if we're not married, you don't have to show me your finances. But you also don't need to ask about mine.
Exactly.
But a red flag for me, if I'm dating, is a dude that is always worried about money, or maybe his account is overdrawn, or no.
Or stuff getting shut off.
Yeah. Like, that says to me, you're not good at managing your money.
And you ain't about to manage mine.
And for somebody who manages money, that kind of puts me off. And it shouldn't, because obviously everyone's not me. But it's certain things that I feel like as an adult, as a man, sorry, over there, as a man, they should know.
He's secure.
They should know.
He's good at money management.
They should know. I shouldn't have to teach you. I don't want to, because sometimes it's hard. It's hard initially, I think, for a man when getting to know you to take certain things from you. What you're saying, you know, they may not take it in. They may see it as an attack, or this person's trying to tell me what to do, or things of that nature. So sometimes you have to wait until you know a person a certain amount of time to be able to offer certain information. But I definitely, I watch that all the time. I can't do it. You have to know. And if you don't know, I need you to be a man that's going to go and find out. Yes. Because you're not going to know everything. So if you know that you want to get a trust account and you don't know how to do that, I need you to be a person who's going to go and find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Instead of just letting life happen.
instead of just letting life happen.
Girl, oh my God, let me not. Oh, I'm triggered.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so But that's the thing. It's like men who, we're always talking about masculine and feminine energy. Men who operate in feminine energy are insecure about their mates making money or making more than them. A man who is secure in himself, he looks at that like that's a good thing, because we're gonna put our pots together. And it's one, when we're married, it's not my money, your money, it's our money. And we should be having a conversation together on how to spend our money. But I think both people need to have their own separate accounts and one together. Because
I could agree and I could disagree. This is what I tell when I come.
Well, that's how I operate.
I feel you. This is what I tell married couples when they come and they're trying to get counseling or coaching about finances. You can have, if you all agree to have joint and a separate account, it's okay to have a separate account, but it's not okay to have a secret account. There's a difference. So you should be able to say to your mate, this is a personal account that I keep. This is what's in there. If they call and say, hey, we're short or I need this, what's in your account, you should be forthcoming. If it has to be a secret, then there's a disconnect between you guys when it comes to that. Because I'm not opposed to having joint for married people, joint and a separate one. But we both need to know about it.
Yes.
I discourage any people who are not married to have joint accounts. If you are not married,
say it right there, say it. Say it right there. Y'all hear that?
if you are not married, do not have a joint account with anyone. Not your sister, not your mother, not nobody. Okay? You can name a beneficiary without putting someone joint on your account. The beneficiary allows them to have access to the money should something happen to you. Should you not be able to speak for yourself, whatever the case may be, should you pass away, really that's what the beneficiary is for. That's all you need. Nobody needs to be joint until you are married.
Girl.
It will just save you a world of trouble.
That's like buying a house with somebody who is not your husband. Like, what? No, we're not doing this. That's just foolishness to me.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And I'm just going to tell myself, lately I've been watching the new Judge Judy, the Judy Justice. And Judy be going in, and Judy be like, I don't know how many times I got to keep having this same court case. Like, everybody, why are you moving in with people you just met 3 months, 6 months? We in an apartment together. You on a lease with somebody? Are you kidding me?
Did she call people stupid?
Sometimes.
Judy's so mean.
She is very mean. Sometimes she really hurts my spirit. I can only watch like two episodes. I'm like, she is so rude. She be so right though, but she be rude.
Cause she fed up like
You know why she be fed up? Because she 80 years old. When you 80 and you seen it all, she done had at least 5,000 cases of the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the same thing. This is why she be up there like, listen. There's nothing you can tell me. I already know. I read your answer. I read their answer. I already know. That's why I feel like she be being mean, because in her mind, to me, sometimes I feel like she already has a preconceived notion, and sometimes it's just not true. Because on the flip side, your 80-year-old mind can't conceive some of the things that these people doing, and while you think it's stupid, they think it's very logical. Because this is the way they think. Yeah, this is the way they think. You know what I mean? So they think, if I put my finances with this person, we're going to be together. I know I loaned them $1,000 last week, but they're going to pay me back, so I'm going to give them $1,000 more today. You know what I mean? So they really feel like, they really feel like this is a smart thing to do. Not realizing that they're being taken advantage of. So I agree with you about... What did you just say?
Don't get no house with nobody.
Don't get no house, but before then you were talking about...
Don't get no bank account, don't get no house, don't get those purchases, those things that you should be doing when you're married.
You should be doing when you're married.
Like,
you really should. You really should, because you want some type of protection.
Yes.
So...
That contract protects you, ladies.
I think what a lot of people are afraid of is saying something about finances that might be contradictory to the person that they're dating. And you think, if I talk about this and I talk about these finances ahead of time, then we're not going to be together.
Then he ain't the
Instead
one.
of having the conversation, because I've had the conversation about prenuptial agreements. Because at this stage, when you're dating people, people have already gathered some things for themselves, whether they own a car, whether they own a house, whether they have a business, whether they have children. They've already acquired some things. So I think it's responsible to have a conversation and say, listen, we can do a prenup. I came in with this. No matter what happened, I'm leaving with my house. You leaving with your house. And we can build other things together after that.
But you ain't getting my house.
Listen, I told you have children and you have policies set up for your children, by all means, keep them. If you and I get married, we'll get our own.
Yes.
It's simple. But people don't want to have these conversations, and relationships, marriages break up over finances within the first couple years because nobody is on the same accord. You didn't know how this person spent because you was too scared to ask them what they spending their money on.
But you ain't scared to sleep with him and swap bodily fluids. What the hell?
This not the conversation, Bobby.
I'm just saying. And my friend Angie love to say this big age, this big age of 49, I want to know, what is your credit score? What we doing financially? What are your I want to know all these things, because what you're not going to do is bring your bullshit into my life. So, I'm just saying.
I don't need to know your credit score.
Oh, yes, I do.
Let me tell you why I don't need to know his credit score.
Why?
Because mine is good. I don't need your credit score.
Well, I
don't need to know your credit score. I need to know how you manage your money, because a credit score only tells a story of what someone did throughout time. It doesn't tell me who that person is. How you manage your money tells me who you are. So I don't care what the score says. The score says that 10 months ago you had a 30-day late. But what it don't tell me is that you got laid off and you ran out of savings, and so you were 30-day late. I don't care what your credit score says. I care how you spend your money.
Well, that's a good point. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. And let me tell you why I said the credit score. Well, that's part of my trauma story, okay? Because I had someone ruin my credit because they did not have credit, and I was the one who had on them love goggles, and things were put in my name, but I was that one. I didn't marry because, oh, they gonna take care of me and the money. It was a plan. I go to school, you work, I take care of the kids, and then when I get done with school, the kids be ready for school, I'll start working. None of that shit happened, okay? So, but a lot of things got put in my name that ruined my credit because the other person did not have good credit, but we needed these things for our family.
Right.
But this was the young, dumb, I don't want to say dumb, the lack of knowledge and experience, 20-something years old.
So really, at this point, it's less about their credit score and more about your boundaries.
Yeah, and I didn't have them at that
But
age.
you do now, so you don't have to worry about their credit score. What you have to worry about is how they're spending their money.
Yeah, and I want to know
and
that.
Are they making money?
I want to know that too. I want to know too.
I think, you said something about, certain type of men, they don't care about, your money or this and that. I won't say I beg to differ. I'll go even further and say the reason they don't care about your money is because they're earners. So they're going to pay and do what they need to do regardless. So it doesn't even have to be, okay, we're going to put our money together. They're not even focused on your money. Most men of stature, men of money, are not worried about your money.
They get with a girl from Burger King because she loving him the right way.
They could care less because at the end of the day, they are going to be taking care of what they're going to take care of. Period. So I think if everybody just focuses on being intentional with their finances, then you can have those open dialogues, those open conversations, and you won't feel so, restrained or so nervous or anxious about having these conversations about money. And it's very important to have these conversations.
Yes. And if you cannot, ladies, look, if you cannot talk about money with the man that you are getting to know, he is not the one. If this man wants you to give up everything and follow him blindly, he is not the one. If he has not shown you, have a proven track record that he is going to handle things like Latoya said, he is not the one. Because what you don't want to do is be in struggle love, because that's a disaster.
It is.
You can't survive off of love. I'm sorry. You can't. And then, like you were saying, the lady you did the coaching session with, it's like I don't know how old she was, but she kind of got herself in the pickle because I'm sure she was scared to ask certain questions.
Exactly.
I
need to know ahead of time where you're spending your money. And most people, let me tell you why I don't like the phrase. I never call myself an entrepreneur. And I tell people who say, they're like, oh, you're an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. Well, what's the difference? Because there are plenty of entrepreneurs who have LLCs, ain't made a dime.
I know that.
If you don't make a dime, you are not in business. You're not in business until you make money. That's it. You're working toward building a business, but you are not in business until your business makes money, until your business pays for something, until your business pays a car note, pays a house note. You are not in business. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. You're not in business. Sorry.
Well, you're right. I mean, well, shit.
They come to me. This is what I'm saying. You're not in business. You're not in business.
You're a businessman, Sante.
If you're not making money, you're not in business. I'm sorry. You are dreaming. You are dreaming of a business. You are working toward a business. You are in the planning stages of a business, but you are not a business owner until your business makes money.
That's true, though.
It's true.
It's the truth. Yeah, tomato. The truth.
I be watching stuff. I was watching Pop the Balloon, y'all. That's my other guilty pleasure. I'm telling you, in between, reading church.
How about that little red balloon?
I got to watch Arlette.
They are so mean on that show. Oh my God.
Hilarious. But this lady was on there talking about she's an entrepreneur. And so Arlette's like, oh, you're an entrepreneur. Any businesses you want to shout out? Any business ventures you have coming up? Oh, no, I don't have nothing right now. Ma'am, you're unemployed. You're not an entrepreneur. What are you talking about? This is what I'm saying. People, they throw that word around, and it can't be thrown around. If you don't make money, you're not in business. And when I talk to people, because I teach a business class, a business startup class to show people how to start their business and things of that nature, we have the conversation. And I said, if you're not ready for some of these particular things, growing a business is not for you. And sometimes it's not for you. You just have the propensity to quit jobs because you don't like people telling you what to do. That doesn't mean you're supposed to own a business. People think just because you get fired or because you have a bright idea that you're a business owner. Everyone is not supposed to be. Everyone can be with enough tenacity, but if you don't have enough, go get it. It's not for you. It's discipline.
Discipline, yeah.
Enough discipline, and it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is. It's heartbreak sometimes and everything.
Listen. If y'all ain't ready to cry, no.
No, shit.
If you're not ready. No, I won't say that I've necessarily cried, but I know people have cried. Listen. We got to do what we got to do. Because sometimes you be overwhelmed, And I would say overwhelmed cry might be me more than anything just because it's like, girl. But then I remember, the only time I get overwhelmed is if you're trying to do something against what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
So if you bring it back to what is the path that was put on my heart Because your heart is where is the inside. That's the spirit telling you this is where you're supposed to go. So if you're doing something that is against that, you tend to be overwhelmed. And you got to get back on track.
Yep.
And sometimes we do that as entrepreneurs because we feel like we have these ideas, we have these thoughts, we have these, and so we want to start this business, we want to go here, we want to help this person. We're into growing businesses. Some people, this is what you do. You see something, you get an idea, you want to run with it, but then it becomes hard when those things don't work, but those things aren't working because they weren't supposed to be the path. So if we stay on the path, we'll be less overwhelmed as business owners.
And connecting with the wrong people.
Connecting with the wrong people, and then also knowing when to get help. You know, a lot of times we are stepping out and we're doing 10 jobs and we need to hire somebody.
Yep.
We, as a community, we need to hire other people so that they can have jobs and circle the money within our community. So we have to be diligent about doing that for ourselves because other cultures do it for them. You don't hear about too many unemployed Jewish people, do you?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't.
They not gonna let theirs be broke.
No, really, no other cultures really.
Americans, I mean, Caucasians, you know, they gonna use the system. They're gonna use the system, but sometimes I feel like they don't necessarily need it, but they use the system.
I know for the African American community, a lot of times we take advantage, in our community, take advantage of our brothers and sisters instead of helping.
That's true.
That right there is very disheartening because on my journey, many a times I'm like, dang, you know. But yeah, I digress. So
That's not the topic today.
no, it's not. That's a whole nother topic. But no, so the whole like trying to rebuild after a domestic violence situation. I want us to refocus back on that real quick because it's important to make sure that when you get out of that situation, that you don't put yourself back in that situation. What is it? Like, fast money ain't always good money. People, pipe dreams and all that stuff, make sure it's real before you get with somebody. I'm gonna say go through all the seasons with the person and see how they really are before you commit to saying, I'm going to give up everything for this person. And then make sure if you don't have nothing, you're trying to get somebody with something, that person is not just manipulating you because they're trying to control you. You know, so it's too many women out here, like I said, they just get in these situations where I want somebody to take care of me and then it blow up in their face. So
Yes.
that right there is true.
Well, once you get out, like you said, you want to make sure that you start with building that non-traditional credit and also pay your bills on time.
Yep.
Because again, a lot of times your credit has been impacted negatively and now you have to rebuild. And the only way to do that is paying your bills on time. But you're going to need help. So I think definitely enlisting someone you trust that can help. Maybe someone can set you up with jobs. Getting some type of coaching or counseling for yourself, I think that's very, very important. Whether it's just financial coaching or whether it's regular therapy, you're going to need to talk to somebody, you know? So I think that that's very important. And I think everything else just comes after that. You know, getting a community, even if you're not a religious person, I think finding a church, because churches have outreach, they have programs, they have housing, you know what I mean? So I think when you're making that exit, think of those avenues versus, oh, let me go to a friend. You go to a place who was built and designed to help those in need, you know, and I think that would help a lot of people, you know, not just women, but a lot of people kind of find a safe haven. Because at the end of the day, there's churches on every corner. You may not be able to make it to an actual DV center or an actual shelter, but I bet you can find a church. I bet
Hopefully
you can find
somebody
a
in
church.
that church.
Bet you can find a church, okay?
Yeah.
So, but you said spend all 4 seasons with them. Wow. Cause I'm like a quick 90 dayer. If I don't see what I need to see in about 90 days,
Well, no, I'm talking. Okay, so when I say all 4 seasons, excuse me. So you and the guy make it past that 90 days, and you're like, okay. When I say 4 seasons, see them when they happy, see them when they sad, see them when they angry, see them when, you know, they done hit the bottom of the barrel and how they pull themselves up. Do they just sit there and they wallow in it? So it's not like summer, spring, and fall.
Oh,
it is
okay.
those seasons of a person's life. You want to see all of their personality,
yes.
because if he don't handle his emotions correctly, we don't need to even discuss moving forward, because you're not the person for me, because you're not gonna handle me correctly, you know.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by the 4 seasons of, like, I want to see you when you're happy, sad. I want to see how you interacting, like if you have kids, how you interacting with your kids, how you interacting with your mother. These are your father. These are important things that people don't look at. They looking like, he got all this money. Oh, he fine. He got a car. Yeah, he got a car. You don't. Like, why you want to get with him because he got a car? How about you get you a car? And then y'all holla. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like you should have at least the same as your mate. Don't just come in here with nothing, talking about some take care of me, and then they want to control you. Because you done came up in here with dust bunnies in your pocket. Like, no, don't do it.
No, that's true. That's true. I think I look a lot for if someone is a thoughtful person.
Yeah.
I need to know if you're selfish. That's key.
Yes, it is.
That's key.
Now, how do you determine if somebody is selfish or not?
If they're only thinking of themselves in situations in general, or let's say you were coming to visit and you're on your way to my house and you stop and get yourself something to eat, but you didn't give me anything.
Didn't even bother to ask.
Didn't bother to ask. Black man, no.
You want to share your fries.
You know what I'm saying? That to me is a person that's not thoughtful, because you didn't think about, man, maybe this person might want something. I might say no. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say no. But just little things like that, or if you're not helping in your community, or if I never hear you say, oh, I went and helped my cousin move something, like, who are you helping? You know, people who serve tend to be, you know, more open.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not a thoughtful person, I'm gonna have to pass.
Yeah. And be careful of the person who appears to be thoughtful. I knew someone who appeared to be thoughtful. They would do things, but it was things only they liked. Or if they brought a treat or a snack, it was what they liked. So they would not even offer to. I'm sure they done heard you say you like whatever.
Exactly.
But it was always what they liked. Everything was on their time. Oh yeah, I'll take you out to dinner, but only to the restaurant I like. We're only gonna go see the movie I like. You know. So you gotta be careful of those people, because some people are like, girl, he took me there, he did that for me. But it was only the things they like. They didn't give a shit about what you like.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. That's true.
You gotta be careful. Or even with friendships, it's like, be careful with that, because people they won't ever think about you when they're doing gifts. It's about what they like. It's like, okay, you hear me say whatever all the time or whatever, but you only...
Well, they're not listening.
Yeah, but that, you got to be careful of those things because you're sitting being considerate of other people, and not to say that you're doing it just for somebody to do something back, but it's like sometimes it feels good to be heard and somebody to show up for you the way you show up for them.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you just got to be careful of that with friendships, with relationships, boyfriends, or whatever. Just because people can appear to be, and they ain't. So I learned that the hard way. I done learned so many lessons, y'all. Lord.
Need to change this to life lessons of Bobby.
You got that right. I got some stories for you.
This will be a 3-hour show.
Yes.
Every day.
So we're at 8:03. Ms. Toya, share with the audience how they can contact you if they're interested in your financial services.
They can go to my website, which is dgrevmgmt.com. They can go to Instagram. They can do dgrevmgmt on Instagram. My personal pages. It's my personal pages. So my personal page obviously is Natoya Jones Official. So if you go to my personal page, it'll get you to my Facebook page and my Instagram and all that stuff. But it'll get you to my business pages as well. But if you just want business stuff, you can also call 586-488-0480 and then set up a consultation.
So guys, you please reach out because she does care. She's not gonna lie to you. She's not gonna overcharge you. She's not going to take advantage at all. So I can stand on that one because I know her very well. Like I said, I've known her before she was born. So, so guys, I want to share with you next week we have Ms. Diamond Jenkins, Domestic Violence Intervention Specialist. We are going to talk about all things domestic violence. We are going to just start unpacking everything about domestic violence, from A to Z. Whatever you want to know, you can chime in. We'll have the chat open the whole time, the phone lines open the whole time. You have questions, whatever you want to know, Diamond and I will be here to just answer the questions, educate. Whatever you want to know, just chime in. So we'll be live for an hour, just unpacking domestic violence from beginning to end, trying to educate as much as possible. And before we go, now you threw that up quick. So I would like you guys to like, love, and share social media pages, YouTube, subscribe to the channel, go through, watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos. You might hear a story that you can connect with and help you on your healing journey. Share the pages, like I said, all the social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't have Twitter, but yeah, all those. And then in the comments, if you have some advice for somebody, you want to share a story, whatever, something positive in the comments, share. Just share it in the comments. The whole point of my podcast is to help other people heal. So you sharing your journey, sharing your advice, whatever, just to help somebody else on their journey, that's what Life Essentials is about. That's what I'm about. Helping other people on their healing journeys to be the best they can, best they can be. Okay? And then financially support the channel. All proceeds to the channel go to the channel and also to my domestic violence advocacy agency, Winning Touch Advocacy Agency. And that is where I help women with resources to start their new lives, whether it be lifts, hotels, paying phone bills, paying storages, whatever it is somebody needs, they call, I help. I do personal protection orders, I do guardianships, I do all kind of things that can help someone on their journey to freedom from a domestic violence relationship. And I also help change parenting time. So Life Essentials is, the Cash App is Life ESS Podcast on Cash App. So if you want to financially donate to the channel, into Winning Touch, go ahead. I appreciate that. So guys, Natoya and I are going to sign out. So chime in next. We're gonna do it on Tuesday, okay? And that is my birthday. I will be 49 years old next Tuesday. So join in. I'm gonna call it the birthday party show too. So just join in 7 p.m. next Tuesday. We're gonna talk about all things domestic violence with Diamond Jenkins. So Natoya, let's say goodbye now. You say bye there. I say bye here. So bye guys. I will see you Tuesday.